What's up everyone, it's Arcadenaut here, and today we'll delve into a delicate meta. This video about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth might include visuals from up to the end of the Rebirth journey, so if you are still playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth or planning to, keep this in mind. Rather than its main story progression or anything, I will talk about the relationship between Cloud, Aerith and Tifa, and how Final Fantasy VII Rebirth weaves a narrative that ends a long feud between the fandom. This triangle of affection, camaraderie and deep emotional bonds has been a central narrative pillar of the game since its original release in 1997. Over the years, fans have tirelessly debated, analyzed and picked sides, rooting for either Cloud and Aerith or Cloud and Tifa. Each camp is armed with moments from the game that they believe solidify their choice as the true canon pairing. However, I believe Final Fantasy VII Rebirth creates a solid narrative that shapes these characters and brings out one true canon pairing. From the very first moment of Rebirth to its ending credits, Cloud and Tifa's character development and the way they support each other creates a new layer for the narrative. It's essential to remember that the beauty of Final Fantasy VII's story lies in its ability to evoke strong emotions and provoke thoughts through its character dynamics. Whether you have always been Team Aerith or Team Tifa, or if you have simply enjoyed the journey alongside these characters without picking a side, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth promises to enhance your understanding and appreciation of these deep, meaningful relationships that have become so much more than just elements of a video game narrative. From the moment players are introduced to Cloud and his journey through the dystopian world of Midgar, it becomes evident that his connections with Aerith and Tifa are just more than mere plot devices. Aerith, with her ethereal presence and mysterious past, draws Cloud into a narrative that transcends the boundaries of their world, offering glimpses into themes of destiny, sacrifice, and the transcendent nature of love. Tifa, on the other hand, represents the ties that bind Cloud to his humanity, his past, his vulnerabilities, and his quest for identity and redemption. She is the anchor to Cloud's tumultuous psyche, providing both a comforting presence and a constant reminder of the stakes at play. As I played the original Final Fantasy VII countless times, I've been with the both of the sides. First, I was with Team Aerith as she quickly cracked Cloud's shell and his stoic nature with her calm yet lively and soothing presence. Back then I remember questioning Tifa's lack of empathy and honesty towards Cloud most of the time. However, my thoughts changed as I played Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII for the first time on PSP. I found myself leaving Team Aerith and then joining forces with Team Zack and Aerith. As a matter of fact, the depth of these relationships has captivated the Final Fantasy VII fan community, leading to the formation of factions or teams that passionately support either Cloud's pairing with Aerith or Tifa, or with Zack and Aerith with additions to the narrative. In Final Fantasy VII Remake, we see the beginnings of their character dynamics. Cloud meets Aerith in the slums of Midgar, a meeting that feels faded, charged with electricity that hints at a deeper connection. Aerith's lighthearted teasing pierces Cloud's stoic armor, hinting at a bond that defies explanation and seems to echo across time itself. Her presence brings a sense of peace to Cloud's turbulent life, a peace that is both comforting and mystifying. And as the story unfolds, we see Aerith's influence encouraging Cloud to be more than what he perceives himself to be, to step out of the shadows of his constructed persona. Their relationship blossoms slowly, like a flower in the ruins of Sector 5 Church, with Aerith offering a sanctuary not just from physical dangers, but from the turmoil within Cloud's own mind. The narrative of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth takes these threads and weaves them into something even stronger, especially during the early and late game narratives of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. As one of the characters that keeps the party full of hope and positivity, in my opinion, Aerith shoulders the role of a big sister, giving pieces of advice to Cloud and about how he should mend the relationship with Tifa, where Cloud suspects Tifa of being an imposter influenced by Sephiroth's words. But again, Aerith always keeps the positivity up, forming a bridge between Cloud and Tifa to help them get closer by each chapter. Rather than acting as a love interest for Cloud, Aerith feels like she tries to support Cloud and Tifa as best as she can. And to be honest, I was quite surprised, especially when she decided to ask for Zack in the Gongaga chapter, where she meets with Zack's parents, asking about his first love interest, but again, believing that Zack wouldn't send letters to her parents, talking about how he met with Aerith and how beautiful she is. As a person who grew up in Shinra's laboratories, losing her mother, and then growing up in the slums of Midgar, a charming soldier like Zack was Aerith's first friend and first love. It was again Aerith who saw Zack's image in Cloud and decides to go with him when Shinra's Turks decide to take her back. And here, Aerith asking about Zack's whereabouts was a sign that she still has feelings for him. And this topic is again shown during chapter 12, where Tifa talks with Aerith in Gold Saucer, saying how Cloud remembered Zack and that he might be dead after all. As this scene was a new addition to the Final Fantasy VII narrative, I believe that the director Hamaguchi wanted to shape Aerith's character development by changing her role into a guardian angel for the team rather than a love triangle between Cloud, Aerith and Tifa. But let's shift focus for a moment. Let's talk about Tifa, the childhood friend, fellow warrior, the heart of Avalanche. If Aerith is the light that shines on Cloud's path, then Tifa is the ground beneath his feet, offering steadfast support and unwavering loyalty. Tifa and Cloud's history is not without its complications. Their shared past in Nibelheim is a tapestry of trauma and lost innocence, woven together by the need to find answers and to make things right. Tifa's role in Final Fantasy VII Remake was mostly as Cloud's childhood friend and Avalanche's heart, but with the new additions to the narrative that shapes Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I think she has a heavier role. Tifa's role as Cloud's anchor to reality is brought to the forefront. Her quiet understanding of his struggles, her patience with his muddled memories, and her resolve to stand by him no matter the cost adds a new layer to their relationship. There are of course mixed and blended with unsaid words of affection. From the first moment of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth to the very end, we see Tifa and Cloud arguing, supporting, and as well as hurting each other. Just like an ordinary, typical way of love and relationships actually are. And if Cloud believes in the words of Sephiroth, Tifa is there to prove him wrong. And if Cloud ever loses his sanity and acts weird, Tifa is again there to bring him back to his senses. When compared to the original Final Fantasy VII's narrative, Cloud is more multi-faced, more complex, and more puzzling than ever. However, Rebirth's Tifa is Cloud's confidant, his co-combatant, and his friend, providing a counterbalance to the mysterious and otherworldly connection he shares with Aerith. What Rebirth does so masterfully is that it doesn't actually make us choose. It shows us that life, much like the stories we cherish, isn't about either or scenario. Cloud's journey is enriched by both Aerith and Tifa, by the ethereal and earthly. By enhancing the emotional resonance of these relationships, Rebirth invites fans to see Cloud's bonds with Aerith and Tifa not as rivalries but as integral parts of his narrative. A narrative about love in its many forms, about the search for self amidst chaos, and about the found family that sustains us through our darkest hours. So where does that leave us with the great debate? Final Fantasy VII Rebirth challenges us to think beyond the binary of choosing sides. Instead, it encourages us to embrace the complexity of Cloud's relationships with both Aerith and Tifa as crucial to his growth as a character. And I think the narrative sophistication of Rebirth allows for a more profound engagement with each character, presenting their motivations, their fears, and their desires in a way that is intricately tied to their relationship with Cloud. And through enhanced dialogue, expanded side content, and meticulously crafted scenes, the game provides a window into the souls of Aerith and Tifa, inviting players to understand them beyond their roles as a potential love interest. These narrative elements reveal the complexity of their characters, showcasing how each woman plays a crucial role in Cloud's journey towards self-discovery and redemption. Aerith's spiritual connection and ethereal presence offer Cloud a sense of purpose and direction, while Tifa's shared history and grounded support provide him with stability and a sense of belonging. But if we really have to take a side and craft a role for each and every character, throughout Rebirth, I felt like Aerith took the mantle of a guardian angel, the big sister who tries her best to support and help both Cloud and Tifa finding happiness, while seeking her own sanctuary, a place where she could call home. And Tifa trying to support Cloud no matter what they face, hiding her emotions, her affection that is rooted deep within their childhood, their traumas of Nibelheim, and the adversaries they together face. However, in the end, I believe Rebirth's development team had the intention of making Cloud and Tifa the canon couple, and this decision can also be seen when both Tifa's and Aerith's date scenes are experienced. Tifa and Cloud have more passionate moments, while Aerith and Cloud have more sincere and calmer time together. And of course, if you also share that night with the boys group of Vincent, Sid and Keiichi, that is also totally okay. So, what do you guys think? Do you agree with Aerith taking the more supportive role and still searching for Zack, and also seeing Zack's image on Cloud, or do you still consider her as the main love interest for Cloud? Or again, did you notice the change in narrative and the director Hamaguchi making Cloud and Tifa the canon couple for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth? But again, we don't know what will happen in the future, we don't know what will change in Part 3, but at the end, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth invites players to consider how Aerith and Tifa, with their distinct personalities and connections to Cloud, represent essential components of his journey. It doesn't seek to end the debate over Cloud's heart, but rather to elevate it, offering a richer, more nuanced understanding of his relationships with Aerith and Tifa after all. This approach reflects the game's broader themes of love, loss, and the search for identity in a world brimming with conflict and mystery. And I think at the end it underscores the idea that Cloud's journey, and by extension the player's experience, is enriched by the presence of both Aerith and Tifa, making the narrative not just a tale of heroism and adventure, but also a profound exploration of the human heart. As always, thank you for watching today's video. Any humble support through Patreon or YouTube join is really appreciated. Next, I still have some stuff to talk about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, but this time I think I might criticize one of the wasted potentials of this experience. I will see you soon, stay tuned.